Hello, I'm Victoria Oruwari. I'm a humanistic psychotherapist and I work with individuals and couples. I'm also registered blind. I'm here to talk to you about some FAQs about therapy so that you can decide if it's the right thing for you. So I'll start with my questions and answers. Number 1, why is talking to a therapist different from talking to a friend? A therapist is someone who is like a friend but isn't a friend because they're there in a professional capacity to help you with your problems and talk to you about your thoughts and feelings so you can better understand them. The difference between a therapist and a friend is that a therapist will not judge your actions or your thoughts or your feelings. You can share whatever you want with a therapist and they're not going to have an opinion and share that with you and tell you off for something, so you're free to say whatever you want. A friend, on the other hand, is obviously invested personally in you and they have thoughts and feelings and they're probably not going to withhold them from you. And that's the difference between a therapist and a friend. Number 2, I'm older. Is there any point in going to therapy? I'll say yes. Therapy is for everyone if it's something they want to do, because one of the main joys of going into therapy and coming out of therapy is that you end up developing better relationships with people around you because the relationship you have with yourself is very much improved. And everyone needs good relationships in their lives. And if you feel that there's a point in your life where you want to talk to someone about something you've kept in your heart for so long, whether you're 95 or 18, you can approach a therapist and talk about it. Number 3, when is the right time to get help? That's a really good question. Sometimes when we go through life dealing with things, we have made different adaptations to help us deal better with our problems, but sometimes those adaptations are not helpful. You start to realize that when you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, stressed, crying at times when you don't even know why you're crying, or you just have this constant feeling that something's wrong, you don't feel right, that's the time to go and speak to a therapist. Number 4, what happens in the first therapy session? The first therapy session is a time when the therapist gets to know you and you get to know the therapist. You both decide if working together is the right thing for you. And it's also the time where the therapist gets to find out more about the issues that brought you into therapy, what you want from therapy, and whether they're in the position to give you what you need. And that's also when you get to decide if the therapist is the right one for you. Number 5, how do I know that I've found the right therapist? Well, finding the right therapist is like finding the right pair of gloves or finding the right pair of shoes. They feel very comfortable. If you feel as comfortable speaking to the person that you see as your therapist as you do when you sit on your sofa at home and you feel safe with them, then that therapist is right for you. Number 6, why does therapy make me feel worse? Sometimes in therapy, you get to discover things about yourself that you didn't know, and sometimes those things can be very upsetting. In situations like that, you might find yourself feeling a little bit sad or overwhelmed when you come out of a therapy session. It's not something that should happen all the time because then it becomes too difficult for you to deal with. So your therapist will gauge how you feel by asking you certain questions to ensure that you're not going away from every session feeling horrible or sad. Wherever there's a lot of challenge, a therapist will offer you more support.